Hi, Sean O'Rourke here. I'm back. It's been about a week since I posted a video, and the last week or two have just been fucking killer. As I've mentioned before on this channel, I do a podcast over at Movie Dumpster, the Movie Dumpster podcast, where we kind of look at different movies. You know, the good, the bad, and the god awful is our slogan, but often we look at these forgotten gems. A lot of horror movies from the 80s, a lot of weird shit. Like we did an episode on Munchie with this little puppet voiced by Dom DeLuise a few weeks back. And I was just editing back-to-back here episodes that we just put out. The Dungeon Master. We just recorded last night an episode of The Wraith. And not really trying to just make excuses here, because it's just I'm reading manga and I'm reacting to it. It's not that complicated. So with all that said, all that preamble, I made the decision just to not react to anything this week besides what I had already done, which was One Piece at the beginning of this week. I was really hoping to get the Stacking Manga out on Saturday, and it just the stars didn't align. So rather than, react to all these series that I'm now behind on, in fact, I even, on my last episode of Stacking Manga, I don't know what the fuck I did, but I thought Dr. Stone was on break. And then I went to go look it up to do this review, and I was like, oh, fuck, there was a chapter last week? And I was like, oh, man. And it would have been pretty high up on the list, let's put it that way. It was a very good chapter, 164. But here we are, Stacking Manga. You guys missed my reactions, which I can only blame myself. But I'm going to go right into this, and then as soon as this video's over, I'm going to just jump right into the next stuff, because some of these series that I just kind of read through before I hopped on camera, the stuff I read prior to doing this that I'm going to be ranking in this episode was very good, as you're going to find out. Not a bad chapter this week. I feel like I always say that, but damn. So the last time I did one of these was for the week of September 6th. And I actually, in that particular episode, did include a new series, Phantom Seer, which I do enjoy quite a bit. The little bit that's come out, probably going on 4 chapters now. I read the first 2. With that said, for the time being, just because I'm clearly doing a little too much, I'm just going to 86 that from the channel until either A, it really starts picking up, give it until it gets like 10, 20, 30, 40 chapters. And then maybe reincorporate it, or if, stuff is just fucking blowing my mind week after week, I'll have to record a reaction, but I'm going to keep reading that on the side, just to simplify this a little, and maybe I'll do some more videos with that down the line if I continue to enjoy it. And then again, like I said, Dr. Stone, somehow, someway, I didn't realize there was a chapter last week. I fucking checked. I guess I didn't know what the date was. I blame quarantine, but we're going to run that down real quick. Phantom Seer, what came in 6th. At number 5 was Chainsaw Man, then Black Clover, My Hero Academia, One Piece, and Attack on Titan. And if I really had to rank it right now, if I had to get Dr. Stone in there somehow, it's probably right between Black Clover and My Hero for that week, because My Hero, One Piece, and Attack on Titan were all phenomenal during the 6th week of September. Again, go back and check out that video if you want to hear my thoughts. And without further ado, let's get into the week of September 13th. All right, starting off at number 4, we've got Black Clover. It was actually the last one I read, and I was like sitting there like, shit, that was like an easy 9 out of 10. Maybe not a 10 out of 10, but absolutely a 9 out of 10. Just a little lore dump. But we had some great moments in 264, Stirrings of the Strongest. Continuing that captain's meeting, we have this great part where reveals that he is potentially, he's even not 100% sure about it, but he's got to be right, a prince from the Spade Kingdom. And everyone's shocked by this. Noct kind of implies like he might know, and Yuno's like, all right, if you're going to spill the beans, I'll fucking spill them for you. And Asta has a great reaction to this. He's like, oh my god. And it just makes me wonder, like, is anyone putting this together that Asta and Yuno were found at the same location on the same night? And that's been, like, pretty much just glossed over up until this point in the story. I gotta wonder if anybody's putting that together in their mind. Like, maybe the sister and the priest back at home. The sister that Asta's obsessed with. But weird, right? I wonder what that's going to really mean. I'm sure we'll find out by the end of the series, like, how that even came to be. But for now, it's something in the back of my head that I'm just like thinking about anytime this, basically Yuno's backstory comes up, since we got more detail on it in this arc. We also have this revelation. Again, I keep talking about the timeline on this situation to stop this ritual Quillpath. Initially, we say, Nox saying, well, it's going to take 7 days to complete. It's like, oh shit, that's not a lot of time. Like, how are they going to train for that? Then it's like, oh, actually, you only really have 3 days. And then after that, we're kind of fucked if we let it take any longer, which I still personally think it's going to take longer, or something's going to happen to accelerate it. I'm not totally sure yet. There's chess pieces on the board that I'm unfamiliar with. We're unfamiliar with. We don't know what they do yet. With that said, we do get this panel right on the first page. Just in case you weren't paying attention or you missed it. I mean, there's a lot going on. I missed some of this the first time reading. Or even that was happening on the panel, it kind of just didn't process right. But their powers, the Dark Triad's powers. Nock lays it down. He's like, Dante, gravity and body magic. Vanica, curse warding and blood magic. And then Xenon, spatial and bone. And that's important, because this series, obviously, characters have had multiple powers. This isn't One Piece where you're kind of relegated to one. Or, plenty of series have done it, obviously. But that's the one that my mind, of course, always goes to. I've only been reading it for like 20 years, so I guess that lines up. Jesus. But I like that a lot. Nock giving them the intel. I mean, they probably could have figured that out between them all. They don't have the info on Vanica, per se, because she's attacking the Heart Kingdom, to their knowledge, which comes back in a big way at the end of this chapter, where we go to Noelle, because there's a comment in the meeting like, oh yeah, we haven't heard from the Heart Kingdom. Because I think Fugolion is saying to somebody, Catherine, I believe, oh yeah, we got to go get the Heart Kingdom to help us out. And we fly to the Heart Kingdom with Noelle waking up after she got her ass handed to her by Vanica. Layla Picha getting taken out, that whole situation. And we have some familiar faces from the elves. We've got Patry, Fanavetto, and Raya there. I can only imagine that Necro dude's around somewhere. The guy that was like, I'm not going to let you get away, Patry. And there was also that spatial magic dude from that arc. I don't remember his name, but he was critical to the elves for most of that. I wonder if they're going to do something. Obviously, they're doing something with Noelle, right? Because I think Nock's going to have his team that he's going to bring in. But you got to have Mimosa and fucking Noelle there, right? Like, they're critical. I mean, Noelle especially. I mean, Tabata's been setting this up. Noelle's going to take out Vanica, whether it's by herself, with Mimosa, with somebody else. Maybe it'll be with these guys. I don't know. A lot of things are coming together. If everything else wasn't so damn good this week, Black Clover could easily take the crown, even in just a lore-dump chapter. And I think that's pretty fucking impressive. But before the thought escapes me, I'm bringing up that guy from the elves. I know there was the other faction prior to that, but again, I did say this in my Black Clover video, or one of my first videos of Black Clover, that I binged that whole series, 130 episodes, right up until essentially the filler that we are currently in. I think. I don't think we've gone on to the current storyline, which I'm waiting to happen. I did watch the opening and the ending, which were very good. Yeah, if that guy comes in, that spatial dude, and just teleports them in, so you have Nock's faction of like the super powerful soldiers, or knights rather, that are around Asta, that he apparently can teleport right into the fucking castle, and then get to work. Obviously, Yuno's going. He made that very clear this chapter. He wants to save William. You see that shot of Belle. You even get Jack. He sees like the wisps in the air. Like, oh, what the hell is that magic? And Belle's like all huddled up in the fetal position. Like, oh, I'm absorbing power. Yuno can't afford to lose again. He won't lose again. And I thought that was interesting. I'm assuming all the captains are going to go, but I think you're definitely going to get like your Jack, your Catherine's, or excuse me, not Catherine, Charlotte, my bad. Going in there. They want to save Yami, obviously. And then Fugolion, Nozzle, and the rest, obviously have their own agenda. I think Nozzle kind of isn't in that camp with Charlotte and Jack, but he's a little bit more ice cold about it, or tries to be. He tries to put on a front. Once this arc starts popping off, I feel like every week is going to be a 10 out of 10. It's hard with One Piece is in this major arc that's been being set up, and basically the seeds have been being planted for fucking like how many years now, pretty much, if you're familiar with the series, since as early as Fishman Island. But my point being, Black Clover is doing that work right now. setting those seeds up pretty much from the beginning of this arc, maybe a little bit in the last arc, and even the whole series to a point when you think about it. All these characters. This is why I like Black Clover, though. And this is why I am comparing it to One Piece. And My Hero, I do this a little. It's a little harder with Dr. Stone and Chainsaw Man to compare to One Piece. They're very different. But Black Clover, in my opinion, is very good with power scaling. Think about that stuff in the beginning of the series, what they were capable of doing. Obviously, Asta, being the MC, was a little bit more powerful than maybe the usual person his age. But you had Yuno there. You had everybody else. The Black Bulls were all kind of on the same level when you think about it. Like, Asta pushed them to be better. Much like Luffy, just to make that point I'm trying to make, pushes his crew and the characters around him to do better. I don't know, Black Clover, very good this week. I hope that all made sense, my comparisons there. I don't know. Maybe during the edit I might not feel exactly the same, but I hope that made sense. Long story short, Black Clover, very good this week. Building up to something huge. And I can't fucking wait for Tabata to pull the trigger on this next stage of the arc. Coming in at number 3 this week was Chainsaw Man. And holy fucking shit, this chapter. So many, bombs dropped throughout. Just fucking knowledge bomb after knowledge bomb. Again, this was a great week. I know I probably sound broken here, like a broken record. I'm typically... positive on this stuff, generally speaking, but I kind of consider myself a pessimist that tries to be optimistic, so, figure that one out. But goddamn, Denji is in this Chainsaw Man form that it's now just straight up being called in the manga, Chainsaw Man. No bones about it. And Makima basically explains to Kishibe, who's got a gun trained on her the entire time. So, got brought off screen there. Why are you not afraid or anything? How could you just stand there so calmly? And she's like, oh, yeah, you sent Denji to hell because there was, one dude that slit his throat that, barely survived. Because remember, last chapter in 82 or 83, the Hell Devil comes in after those guys killed himself to summon it, and Denji fucking takes it out in 1 second. And this one dude's like, yeah, no, you're going to do your job first. And, pours the blood into the mouth that kind of is in front of him. I don't know if he ran over to it or it's reappearing in front of him. I'm a little unclear on that, but it doesn't really matter because he summons his big-ass hand to come in and squish Denji into hell. And you see the doors hanging above like we did previously. So he's there, before they even say it. But Denji in this Chainsaw Man form, man, he's fucking everything up. He's destroying devil, demon, everything in between, no problem. And Makima explains, the Chainsaw Devil, the Chainsaw Man specifically, is something that all devils fear, by the way. And, big thing to keep in note, this is why I'm not afraid, is I have a deal or a contract with the government of Japan that if I'm hurt in any way, it basically counts as an illness towards a person. So hence, you gotta think. When that guy was fucking unloading machine gun blast after machine gun blast on her, if that's the way her contract works, how many people he just killed? Was this guy responsible for COVID? Not to make light of it per se, but something of that level. In the context of this series, if she got shot that many times, and if each bullet, let's say, that would have killed her counted as something that her contract blocks, I think Kishibe's anti-Makima squad just handed out some unfortunate genocide. And that's some fucking heavy shit to think about. Makima's talking about, oh yeah, if this devil, the Chainsaw Man, eats another devil, they disappear entirely. They don't exist anymore. People forget about them. And there's a very specific example that was like, whoa, holy shit. Again, I'm about to say, how could I not have thought of that? But it's never come up before. But she's saying, yeah, remember Hitler and the Nazis? And Kishibe's like, huh? Nazis? What? She's like, yeah. People don't remember because he ate their associated devil. Which, I mean, I guess in the world of Chainsaw Man, of course the Nazis had contracts with devils. It just fucking adds up. I mean, think about what Rasputin was actually trying to do. I mean, again, Hellboy kind of played into that if you've seen those movies, ever read the comics. But a lot of interesting stuff. And of course, she's not concerned at all, really. She has that contract, but also she knows, because she's the control devil, that she told Denji to protect her, so he's going to be back. And we end that chapter with him coming through a fucking door, blasting through it, covered in blood. He has those guts wrapped around him still. We saw him eat a couple of these devils, so I guess they're gone. Very interesting stuff. I have no fucking clue what's gonna happen. I do see on the Viz official website that the banner this week is Denji, which I'm probably gonna steal and use as the background on my Chainsaw Man video. Look out for that coming soon. But goddamn, this arc, ooh, I don't even really know what to say. It's kind of shocked me, every chapter has been very good and very, the twists keep coming, and I'm still waiting for that power reveal. Is she alive? Is she dead? Makima's saying, oh yeah, I want to get rid of death and disease and all this bad shit, and Kashibi's like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, are you bullshitting me? And she's like, no, it's been my plan the whole time. And it's like, you cannot believe this woman. I mean, you think about how many videos I've done so far, which, again, have not been a whole lot. I've only been doing this for about 2 months and change. But that I just talk about how much I hate this fucking woman. I don't want to get in her head, but I might have to try to start understanding the logic of what she's doing. And just with that said, if Denji's back, Kishibe, he might be kind of fucked. He might be dead next chapter. This isn't my number one of the week, but I feel like this is going to be the one I'm going to read first, if you know what I mean. Sometimes, even if a chapter wasn't your favorite of the week, there could be something in there that you're like, oh, fuck, I gotta know what happens next. And, My Hero kind of in that same position, but we didn't get it this week. So that might be taking the next one in line since there's no One Piece this week. But we'll see when I do the recording. Regardless, very good chapter. A lot of action. We saw Denji just killing devil after devil, and these really insanely well-designed devils. Anytime Fujimoto's drawn devils, he goes the extra mile, and I really appreciate that. They're always giving me those Junji Ito feels, and I don't know if anybody can stop Denji. Again, on Viz, I hate when they do this shit, but I get they gotta market the manga. They're like, oh, can anybody stop Denji's rampage? And it's like, I guess we're going to find out in 85. So, coming in at number 2 this week. I can't believe I'm saying this. It's the first time it's happened. But, it's One Piece. It's not actually the first time. And obviously, I've been making this ongoing joke so far the last several videos that anytime Attack on Titan comes in, it always takes the number 1 slot. But One Piece has taken it every other time. And we're going to get to why Dr. Stone took the top spot in a little bit. But for now, let's talk about some One Piece. Chapter 990, Army of One, getting ever closer, inching closer to that chapter 1000. If I would be lying if I was saying that it's my most anticipated chapter to read at the end of the week here. When we get into the week of 920, or 927, excuse me. God forbid I forget that. My girlfriend will kill me. It's her fucking birthday. Army of One was interesting. Starting with that card reading from Hawkins, saying like, oh, yeah, 1%. And Drake's like, oh, what does that mean? He's like, oh, this person has the likelihood to survive till tomorrow. And Drake's like, oh, yeah, I feel bad for that guy. And obviously it's referring to Drake. I mean, I guess, I said in that video that maybe it's talking about Luffy, putting literally every card, on top of him and him coming out alive because, you're not killing Luffy. I mean, that would be the most shocking thing in a One Piece if Luffy died. It just ain't gonna happen. But he could take a massive beating. Again, Kaido, King, Queen, Jack, and the Toby Roppo, for that matter, have not shown their hybrid forms. I think Ulti might have. That was a little, she might be the only one. But the main heavy hitters, the Plagues and Kaido, haven't shown that hybrid form. I don't know if people are talking about this online. If they aren't, I don't know what they're doing. I'm sure they're getting more granular with stuff I'm not even thinking about, to be fair. But that's going to be a big deal. But for now, it wasn't. Drake, of course, not realizing that he's walking into an ambush. And he'd be dead if not for this random-ass explosion, which confused the hell out of me. I listened to the One Piece podcast, and it kind of confused the hell out of them, too, it seems. I'm kind of hoping in 991 we get a scene with, like, Shinobu or somebody up there throwing a bomb, or another character. I mean, I guess it could be a smoke bomb, but that was a very clear fire explosion that went off. Unless Drake starts throwing time bombs out like fucking Pedro in Whole Cake in the next chapter, then I guess that'll be enough. But that was awkward. Oda's usually pretty good with that stuff. That was kind of like my only complaint with this chapter. Because then Drake gets away. His cover blown. Well, technically, cover blown in the sense of like they know he is not for their team because they're like, oh, you let Law get away. You're the only one that could have allowed him to get away. You know, of course, he jumps off the side there. Meanwhile, Luffy's coming in and he's talking about, oh yeah, remember Oars? Because they were talking about Oars in the previous chapter. About, yeah, we all teamed up to fight one of those, and now it's different. And if you watch that video, I'm like flipping out. I'm like, oh, this is a dream. Because I was under the impression that they were going to do another team-up attack against these things. But as Luffy and DS Drake showed, we don't even need to do that shit. Just go Gear 4th, take him out. I mean, honestly, Luffy probably could have done that in Gear 2nd. Probably not even with his current strength. But, you know, he's trying to get this shit done and over with. He wants to get the Kaido. He's not fucking around with these mooks, these numbers. And, you know, Frankie already took one out in the previous chapter with a Radical Beam, which, I mean, he might have taken more damage because it was like a page or two before the thing fell to the ground. But that Radical Beam, I think, was the key attack on it. So, I'll be interested to see if more of these numbers show up. Let's see Usopp take one out, you know, one-shot this motherfucker. Or at least, you know, not sweat too many bullets over it. Nico Robin. I want to see Nico Robin do that to somebody. You know, she gets like that move she used on Oars, but a more advanced version where she she formed all those arms around his arm and pulled it behind his back so he slipped on the ice. Let's get that on the whole body, like a prison. Let's get the clutch on one of these giants with these multiple Robin hands. That'd be fucking awesome. Again, Robin needs to do more. She's her espionage role has been very good in Wano. I just kind of go back to Dressrosa specifically because even Fishman Island, honestly, and even the Return of Shabadi. I know a lot of people were kind of like, man, Robin's really been put in a different area now. Like, she doesn't really fight too much. But I like her fights in Fishman Island, even if it was like some like low-level ass motherfucker that I forget his damn name, but it was like that long-necked guy. It was like Hacha or some shit. It doesn't matter. He was one of Vanderdecken's crew. He's never going to be seen again. But she took him out. And then, you know, last chapter, 989, of course, her and Jinbei taking Big Mom out, which Big Mom's not knocked out. Why is no one concerned about that? Where did she even go? Maybe 991 she'll come back in a big way. Other thoughts, though, before I get on too much of a side tangent talking about fights for Nico Robin here. Drake saying, you know, as he clobbers this number and Luffy's taking one out with the Kong gun, he remembers back to a conversation he had with Kobe, another sword member, and saying, yeah, Luffy's amazing, and just kind of taking his word for it and just kind of running with it, saying, Luffy, I can't explain why I'm doing this, but hey, let me join you. And Luffy's like, huh? Again, let's think back to the beginning of this arc. Tama told Luffy that Deus Drake was responsible for the destruction of her hometown. But with the information that he's a sword agent and that everything he's kind of done up to this point has not really hurt the people. If you think about it, like, yeah, he destroyed some fucking houses, but it wasn't like Tom was like, yeah, D.S. Drake massacred everybody and put their bodies on stakes, and, you know, their heads on stakes and left them out to warn others. It's like, no, he just fucked up some houses. Also, where is the rest of Tama's town, by the way? We never really came back. Speaking of Tama, where the fuck is she? I still am saying she was that shadow in the beginning of Onigashima that was, like, peeking around a corner watching Robin and Jinbei walk off. I think that's going to come back later in this arc, but we'll see. We also had the Minx versus Jack, which I like, but it's a little underwhelming. You know, on a second read through, still happy with it. I mean, I'm not upset. I'm a little upset that Cat Viper and Dogstorm got that bullshit shadowing effect on them that the anime loves to use. Again, if you've been watching the anime and you're reading the manga, you gotta be scratching your head about what they've been doing with Odin. Like, just show the motherfucker. You got him in the opening. You know, Oda drew him in a specific way in the manga that was a little frustrating, but you kind of could buy into it because he doesn't want to show the guy yet. You know, he did it with Momonosuke. He did it with Denjiro. He even did it with Kanjuro going back to Dressrosa with a totally different look in the magazine and then in the finished volume than he ended up with. So, you know, I wasn't crazy about that, but I guess we're going to see that eventually. Unless, again, Jack goes hybrid form and fucking punks their ass, and then one of the Straw Hats got to get revenge on them. I mean, as much as I want to see Jack get taken out by the Minx, specifically Cat Viper and Dogstorm. I don't know if it's going to happen. I feel like he's going to get the shit beaten out of him. He's going to be on the ground looking pissed off, and then that'll be the end of the chapter. Like, they think they beat him, but he'll have, like, that look with the shading. And then the next chapter, he's going to go hybrid and just fucking dominate these guys. But I think we got a few chapters to go. Again, we're getting on that 1,000 chapter mark. I don't know if Oda's going to use that to take somebody out. I think that would be the number to do it. If he really wanted to get that hard and fast chapter 1,000, something crazy has to happen thing. I don't know if that's something in Oda's mind. If his editor's going to push him on that. Again, he's got that new editor. We'll see. But fucking 10 chapters. I mean, is that even going to be by the end of the year? I'm not going to do the math right now, but looking forward to that whenever that happens. And a couple other just quick notes on that chapter. We had that phone call, King calling all the Toby Roppo and telling them, yeah, Yamato getting them now ain't going to do shit for you. You got to take care of the Straw Hat Army. Obviously, a much bigger problem right now. In fact, Yamato's joined them. And now Drake, plus all their forces up to this point. We still don't know what's going on with Marco and Perospero. Maybe that's where Big Mom is. Maybe she's talking to Perospero. I mean, I highly doubt that, but maybe. And then, I don't think the Grand Fleet's being introduced. I saw some theories online of people saying, well, there's that stuff with Vivi from the Reverie. What if Kuma teleported Vivi, Sabo, and God knows who, fucking Sai maybe in the Tatanas, to Wano. But I mean, I guess I gotta research that more to see if that is an actual popular theory. I saw that floating around in a few areas, and for me, that's a fucking head scratcher. I'm sorry. They've been in Wano for weeks. If Vivi was gonna show up, she'd be there by now. Again, well, with that said, I mean, if that happened, I'd be pretty into it. I like Vivi quite a bit. But her end goal was to, save her kingdom and lord over it, more or less. Her dream is what she's doing now. She doesn't need to join the Straw Hats or help them in Wano. It's crackpot theory, in my opinion, but hey, everyone's got one, right? The last thing I want to say is, we have this scene with Sasaki getting freed due to Big Mom's Ikko's sovereignty from 989. And, the Sacred Tree situation, I don't know a ton about the, history of sacred trees in Japan, but I'm going to take a wild guess and say that that's a bad thing, especially when it's a sacred tree on an island that has a massive oars-like skull on it. I wonder if that's going to mean anything in the future, or if that was just, an aesthetic thing where Oda's like, yeah, sacred tree is going to destroy one. I don't know. We got to get Sasaki off this tree. I wonder how that's going to come back in. Again, maybe Big Mom's going to turn the fucking island into a homie at the end of the third act, and that's the big trouble the Straw Hats are dealing with going into Act 4. Many things could happen. And then again, the Pound cover story continues. I think this was a chapter 35 or some shit. We got it from the POV from Pound getting pulled in by Lola, Chiffon, Gotti, and Capone. And again, because how can I not say it every time? Pez, yay! For Grandpa. Still into it. I know a lot of people have checked out. I don't know why I need to feel the need to say that every time, but hey, Pound, sure, why not? I'd like to see it end soon. I think Oda's dragging it out a little bit because maybe he has things planned with these characters. Maybe actually, you know what? I think this was on the One Piece podcast. I forget if one of the hosts brought this up or if it was an email. But the idea that maybe he's dragging this out because he's gonna bring Capone to Wano, maybe. I don't personally see it, but maybe. When I say I personally don't see it, it's I don't think that's going to happen, but I do see the logic, where that could happen, because he did that with Jinbei before in his story arc, where he had met Mawata Matsui and all that, and he found a poneglyph and all that shit. Really looking forward to 991. Maybe One Piece can take the number one spot back from our number one chapter this week. Dr. Stone, chapter 165. Know the rules, make the rules. Man, I was talking about this concept a little bit with Black Clover and One Piece, and I even said you can't compare Dr. Stone to One Piece, and I'm not. But the idea that you have all this shit planned, and it's finally coming together, specifically in Dr. Stone and One Piece right now. Again, I can't believe I missed that chapter in my last video. I don't know what the fuck happened that day. I don't think I had enough cups of coffee or something. I didn't get my pumpkin spice that day. I think that was the problem. But goddamn, was this a good chapter. Starting off with Ryusui and Senku versus Stanley in the airplanes, kind of a continuation from that last chapter where they're doing all those airplane maneuvers in the air to kind of get behind each other. We have the manga artist calling this all out, which I thought was pretty hilarious. Use of that character. And then, again, I'm mad at myself for not reacting to this, but, I had to get this done, This shot of this fucking submarine coming towards them, my mouth was hanging off my face. The jaw came unattached, it felt like. So I kind of was thinking that it was a submarine or some kind of weapon, long trajectory weapon, and it ended up being a sub. They fucked up the Perseus with this thing. They had a bomb on the front of it they fired off. That turkey leg eating woman jumped out and slashed the shit out of the ship. A bunch of other huge guys, which reminded me of like Tsukasa's kingdom at the beginning of the story, charge in and kind of just like with the machine guns, just like, yep, drop to the floor, kiss the ground, you're not doing anything. But right before they attacked, while we're kind of going from Senku to the boat and back and forth, Matsukaze, he's kind of standing there like, they're in the sky, nothing's happening down here, this doesn't really add up. And, we get this thing at the end of the chapter with him, Mozo, and Ginro, which I guess is somewhat for comedic effect. But also, Ginro is like an MVP in this series. Like, he is that character. He is the Usopp of Dr. Stone in some capacity. The scaredy cat character that somehow always comes through when he's needed. And I think it's really pivotal that he is does not have a gun held on him right now. But of course, Mozu fucked up that one guy below the ship with Matsukaze. Who is, of course, protecting Ginro, and that is why he's there. But it was interesting to see the Kingdom of Science defeated so quickly, but then coming right back from it, because we kind of had that juxtaposed against Senku creating the solvent in the middle of this airplane battle, because eventually Stanley's going to realize that machine gun that they're holding doesn't do anything, because they haven't fired it once. In fact, I think he's like in the middle of figuring it out when Senku starts, combining everything and starts dropping these makeshift bombs, essentially, out the back of the plane right towards Stanley as they start exploding and dropping the solvent, almost like white phosphorus or some shit, towards him. There's more stuff that happened in the chapter, but those are like the moments that stuck out at me that made me say, holy shit. Because again, One Piece, there was some incredible stuff in that chapter. Chainsaw Man, there was some incredible stuff. And even Black Clover, there was some really good stuff. But goddamn, like, Dr. Stone has been building up to this war. And I talk about power creep. And, power creep maybe is not the right word, because I don't think any of these series I've talked about in this week, or just really in general, honestly, struggle with that. I mean, maybe you have your individual characters, but Dr. Stone's very good with this. You think about going back to chapter 1, what they were dealing with. They're basically rubbing sticks together to make fire, and now they're in an airplane, dropping makeshift bombs. They have a fucking submarine attacking them. Like, well, if you told me that's what this series was going to be at chapter 165, I would have said you were crazy. But this is where we are. And of course, the Kingdom of Science, when they're defeated, Xeno's people find Luna, so I wonder where that's going to go. I feel like she was kind of starting to, if not fall in love with Senku, again, making him her boyfriend, that whole thing where she's like pouting in the bar in 163, I think that was. And everyone's kind of like, yeah, he's done that before. Don't be too hard on yourself. I'm interested to see what she's going to do. We also have Max, I think his name is, still like in the vicinity, I would have to assume. I don't think he went back. And the whole thing with Chrome's crew, while they're gone, is Chrome going in? He's going to save Gen in the next chapter, maybe. Or we might have to wait a little bit, because it looks like they brought pretty much all their heavy hitters. I don't know who they left behind, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens next. And for all those reasons alone, Dr. Stone took the crown this week. So, going to list it off one more time. We had number 4, Black Clover. Number 3 was Chainsaw Man this week. Then One Piece. And we capped it off with Dr. Stone. That's pretty much the video. I'm going to jump right into this stuff. I'm trying not to get behind again. When I first did Chainsaw Man, I had missed a week, when I first did my first week of videos, and I was like, shit, I got to do 2 in a row, and which is fine. But the time sync on that just like doubled instantly, which, I mean, math, Sean, right? But that's been the week of 9/13 for Stacking Manga, and I'll be back with one of these absolutely on Saturday this week, if not sooner. I have a little bit more free time this week. I still do have to edit Movie Dumpster, and again, check out Movie Dumpster, please, if you like movies. If you enjoy this content and you want to see some more stuff that I'm involved with, I'm one of 3 hosts on that show. And again, we have a new episode coming out at the end of the week as of this recording. We just dropped two. We just dropped two basically back to back due to some scheduling issues we were facing earlier in the month. We were just like, fuck it. We're still going to do all the episodes we have planned. We're just moving them up a little. And that's what we did. And then starting in October, every year we do our Trick or Trash month, where we do just movies that take place on Halloween or that are all about Halloween. I'm really looking forward to that. So with all that said, I've been Sean O'Rourke. This has been Stacking Manga. And have yourself a good day. I'll see you next time.